What's up, fantastic humans? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another speed build in The Sims 4. We're continuing our one pack series where we build things with just one pack so that everyone can get involved. As you can see, I just clicked off the toddler one because that was the build that we did last time, and you can click up in the right hand corner for that video if you haven't seen it. And this time we got Jungle Adventure. So this build is 6 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. It's perfect for 8 Sims. It also has an office with the archaeology table, a living room area, dining room area, kitchen, the huge. But it also has a grand piano, which I was so excited because I've always wanted to put a grand piano into my build. So I had enough room and it's beautiful. It's gonna look great. So the roofing kind of took me a little bit to figure out. So you'll see it does kind of jump through the roof part because it was just kind of tedious how long it took to actually get the roof the way I wanted it to, but I think in the end it turned out good because there's like a little overhang between the private bedroom and then the rest of the house. So in this build there's actually 2 private bedrooms. One I would assume would be kind of like for maybe an adult couple that's more like grandparents or something if you took your elderly Sims, and then the other one would be for just like the normal parents, and then the rest would be for the kids. So that was kind of what I had in mind when I built this house. It is good for a toddler as well. It has a bathtub and the toddler toilet, and then obviously a toddler room, which you'll see a little bit. So this is what the final roof ends up looking like, and then I just kind of move that eave over to kind of make it more cohesive, and again kind of creating that balcony area and the sheltered walkway between those 2 spaces. So then the kind of porch area is really cool, but it does get bigger, and then we got into this, which took me so long that you're literally seeing probably 10 seconds of me trying to figure this out. I kid you not, it took me 20 minutes to figure out what I wanted the siding and the color of the house to be, because I kept changing my mind. So the little extra part where the parents would stay does stay that color, which I love, and the blue color stays for the most part. It was really that middle part, and I wanted it to kind of seem like they took 2 separate houses and then kind of renovated them together, or added on to an addition, but then it just was not looking right at all because it was just that specific part that was different than the rest of the house. And then it took me forever to try to figure out what I wanted the front to look like, and I kept going back between the same couple things, and it was just a mess. And I liked the red brick with the blue, but I didn't want it to be on both levels, so I ended up just going with this. But then in like 2 minutes or so I'll change it again, so don't get too attached to that, but it's similar to what it ends up being. And then I found this, and I really love it. I don't know what it is, but it kind of created that kind of floor trim without it being a floor trim and cutting through the walls and stuff. So that's why I chose that, and it was just really cool. It goes with the whole ruins theme and just being jungle adventure, so that was really neat. Then I just added a orange roof trim because it goes with the orange tiles, and then I found these again, which I used in a previous build for going around a fountain, but they really worked well here. And then I made it orange to kind of give it a pop of color in the front and go with the rest of the house, so that was nice. And now I'm just adding in some greenery, some windows. So I didn't really do my rule where I like to add in windows later. I mostly added a bunch of windows first, so there's tons of them in this build, and then I kind of built around them, which you'll see. I mean, I do add some later, but for the most part they're already here. And then just choosing some foundation and stuff, and then I will make the front porch a little bigger and a little bit because I think it was a little bit too narrow at the beginning, and so it'll look cool. So as you can see, that's what I'm doing right now. And then it just kind of changes shape just a little bit, and I'll add in the windows next in just a second. So then just adding more greenery around, just trying to make it very outdoorsy, very in the jungle. Obviously it is surrounded by jungle, so I wanted to kind of bring that into the house. There's a lot of plants everywhere, the potted plants and that really rich culture part of it too from the Jungle Adventure pack. So that's really neat to see around. And then I hope you like what I do in the front, which you'll see in a little bit, but I ended up finding some like half ruins or something and then putting them in around the build as well. So they go up against that wall for a little bit, and then they stay there. I think one of them stays there, and then it gets changed into a fountain. But then I start adding plants and stuff in here, and then I'll build kind of like a wall in front of it, which you can see obviously in the thumbnail, but then also in the screenshots later. Also, I'm really excited because today, when this is going out, there is a update to The Sims 4 that allows us to alt place windows and doors, which would have really come in handy for this build, I think. But also, it fixes the bug where when you place plants next to a foundation, they keep raising up, which is the issue that I'm having right now. Is I want to get them as close to that foundation as I can, but they keep popping up. So I'm really, really excited that today we have that update. When this is going out, we have that update. And so that's nice. But yeah, so I'm just adding in a little pool, which kind of turns into almost like a pond in front of it. But obviously it is usable as a pool in The Sims 4. And it has like a ladder that I'll add in later, and your Sims can swim in it and do laps. But it was almost like a pool of yesteryear, and then they kind of got dirtier and they started growing some plants and stuff in it too. And so you'll see that too. But right now I'm just outlining the pool with this jungle life because I, again, wanted it to feel more like it was part of the jungle, not just, on the grass field and then nothing before the tree line again. So that's why I'm adding all these plants in here, just to kind of make it more jungly, which I think turned out really cool. And like I said, it is only Jungle Adventure and base game, which is perfect. I do use mostly Jungle Adventure, which is nice because it's I think it's an expansion pack, which comes with a lot of stuff, which is really helpful for when I'm building things like this. So in the end, it turns out I'm using more of the Jungle Adventure stuff than the base game, which is nice. So yeah, that's kind of what the outline of the pool looks like, and then, like I said, I will add in a little ladder in later. And then I just changed the kind of painting, so it turned into chaos, I think is what the painting is called, and then just kind of making the deck look a little bit better, and I think it turned out pretty cool. So I'm just adding in some plants right now, which I really love that trio of plants. I use it inside as well, but I do change it around. So I use the same plants, but because I didn't like the position of them on the inside, I do change it around. So now I'm just adding some lily pads, and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to add algae, but I didn't want it to look super gross. I wanted it to be usable, sorry. And so that's why that was there. But I ended up adding a little bit of statues. There's a ladder for it. And then that statue in the front will change too, which you can see obviously in the thumbnail and later in the screenshots too. So right here I was building this wall, and I liked the way that the arches looked. I think it was cool, and my goal was to have kind of like a ruin wall that would have fallen down earlier, like in the past, and then the archways would have just been like for decoration and stuff, but then they look too new versus the older ruin wall. So eventually those will go out and it'll just be the ruin wall, but then I'll add some other stuff to it, which I think turned out really, really cool. And I was so excited that I found those because they're perfect for the decoration, and it just turned out really, really neat. So I'm actually really proud of this build. I think it's one of my favorite ones that I've done so far, just because of all the detail that I put into it and how well it turned out. So that was kind of cool. And then I love those columns too. You saw maybe in the beginning part, I was gonna have the roof kind of hang over and then put columns and stuff in there, but the columns that come with Jungle Adventure have a height restriction on them, so then when I put the foundation in, they couldn't go to the second floor, so it didn't look right. So that's why I ended up not doing those, but those columns look good on the ends of the ruins, and that's what I did. And then I love those jungle vines. Again, it just kind of brings in that jungle vibe that goes with it, and there you go. There's an avocado and a plantain tree on the lot as well, and those are from the buy debug menu, but you can still use them, and they'll be fine if you take care of them. It'll just be like normal trees that have just grown up instead of you having to plant them and then wait for them to grow up. So that's pretty cool too. And I think actually if you like load the game, the avocado tree is actually ready for harvest too, which I didn't really mean to do, but I just thought it would be cool to kind of have those natural plants on the lot. So, and then you have a selling table too, which came with this pack as well. I think it was introduced like city living or something, but you have the selling table here as well. So now you can sell artifacts or whatever you want to do in The Sims. So that's cool. And I use that hardwood floor pretty much throughout the build, and then a couple of tiles as well for like the bathrooms and stuff, but I just really love the red in it, and I just think it's so cool. So originally I was gonna make this bedroom and bathroom combo part of the house, but then I decided that if you did have elderly Sims, you know, they would probably want a private room that wasn't attached to the rest of the house. So that's why it's still accessible obviously from the outside through the door, but it's separate from the rest of the house, which I think is cool. And then the parents' house, or the parents' room, which is right above this, is also separate from the rest of the house too. So the adults kind of get that relaxing, quiet time away from the kids, which is perfect because, you know, it's a vacation lot and stuff. And it does have the peace and quiet trait, and I think homey is one of them too. And honestly, I forget the other one, but they're all either from the base game or from Jungle Adventure, so that's pretty cool. And I love those windows. I like that you would imagine that you would just close the door on it, and then it obviously wouldn't be open. But then if you wanted to let in that breeze, that jungle breeze or whatever, you could just definitely open those. So that was pretty cool. And I love the orange. You know, I'm a big proponent of color. I love making pops of color in my builds, and the orange just went with a lot of different things, and I think it was really cool. So yeah, I did end up changing out those lights just because I found them when I was looking for lighting in the bathroom. I was like, oh, those are really, really cool lanterns, and they turn out really cool on the outside too. So yeah, just putting in the master bedroom with a couple more windows, and then I'll change some colors around too, I think, for those. And I think I really like this room. It would be a perfect place to just kind of relax and get away, you know, enjoy the jungle. Basically, every room has a bookcase and a chair in it, and that was just because the rooms were so big that I needed to kind of fill everything up. But I think it's really cool. It gives me a lot of Tarzan vibes, I think. You know, if you've ever seen the live action Tarzan, it's very much that jungle, almost kind of early British American kind of style, and I think it just turned out really cool. And I tried to size down the mirror there, which obviously you saw we couldn't because of the blue mirror part, I guess. Sizing down mirrors doesn't work, and I forgot about it, but hey, it works out in the end. And then I just put an easel, and that's the room. So then it also has an office, which is cool because that includes a chess table and another bookcase, and then also the archaeology table, which you see right there. And I absolutely love that that desk that comes with the base game. I've never used it because obviously I build more modern builds, which I say every time. By now you probably should know this, but anyways, but it just fits so perfectly in this build, and I thought it was so super cool, so that's why I use that. And then that other leather chair I think is also base game, and so that was pretty cool. But yeah, so this is just the office. I was going to put in 2 huge bookcases, and I thought it was really cool, but then I wanted to add in a chess table or like a workbench or something, and I was kind of going back and forth on what I wanted to add in, and then I found the chess table, and it just fit in perfectly. So yeah, they're just changing sides now, and all of that is good. And then yeah, I found this tapestry, which fit perfectly with the yellow in the chairs, and so I really enjoy it. I just think it's such a cool build, and such a cool office space too, so that's pretty neat. And then right next to it, which we'll jump into just a second, is going to be the kitchen, and that one actually ends up kind of sharing the yellow because I use the fridge and the stove that come with the oh, well, I actually changed the chair, so anyway. But it comes with the pack that goes with it, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, just putting in the counters, the cabinets, and then I'll add in some lights under the cabinets and the like windows and stuff too behind the sink. And I actually end up using one of the specialty cabinets that I talk about in my tutorial video. And I think it's really cool. I hadn't used the Jungle Adventure one before, and so it was really neat, all the stuff that came with it, which you'll see right now. It was just perfect for that, so But yeah, so now I'm just adding in the bar, which I do actually slide in a tile more to the towards the kitchen again, and then just kind of putting in those lights, which were very industrial but very cool as well. So it was neat. But yeah, this is the kitchen, and also there is a dishwasher in there. You don't see it in this build, but when I was play testing, I realized I forgot the dishwasher, so I do put that in later. But other than that, that is the kitchen. And then I use the oh well, actually we'll do the entryway, and then I'll tell you what I use. But yeah, so just putting in, of course, my entryway thing, and then I love this pot here that I just thought was really cool, but I wanted to put some flowers in it, to make it better. So I just ended up using those base game flowers and then putting it in the pot itself. So I think that turned out really neat, and it was kind of a cool decoration that I could do. So that was neat. And then just the orange rug. But I was gonna do this kind of living room area, but I really, 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 really love this table. I think it's so cool. It's like one of the bigger round tables, obviously, but I never use it because it doesn't really go with much. But it was absolutely perfect here, obviously, because it goes with the whole pack and the whole build. So I was really, really excited that I could use that. And then I wanted to put in this kind of bar area, and I was going to use those racks, but I changed it out eventually because it doesn't really look right with everything itself. And now I'm just kind of putting in some decorations on the walls, which kind of change around too. And then I think I actually don't put anything on the wall just because it wasn't looking right itself. And then putting in the stairs there. And I ended up putting in a half bathroom down here, but then I change it when I put in the bedrooms. So you'll see me building that right now, and then just kind of making it smaller, and then I'll eventually extend it out again. So that's pretty cool too. But yeah, that tile is just really cool. I use it in all of the bathrooms, and I love that it comes in so many different colors, but each of the colors really fit in with everything, so that's pretty cool as well. And just adding in that sink, which I think is really cool as well. And there's like two sinks. One is that one with the kind of backsplash area, and then the other one is where the bowl is just kind of loose into the sink, I guess. But that was a pretty cool sink too, which I use upstairs a little bit too. And actually, I think I used it in the private suite for the grandparents or whatever. But so now I'm just doing the living room area. It's got a couch, some chairs, and then I put in a fireplace as well. Obviously it has a TV, your usual living room stuff. And I just like the blue. I thought that was such a cool color with the white end tables there, and then the blue lamps as well. And then the rug that doesn't really go with the patterns, but it kind of weirdly meshes together, which I think is really cool. And I make it into the darker fireplace later, so just stay tuned for that. But yeah, and I love that coffee table too. I wish I could use it in more builds just because it's such a cool like kind of texture on it with the different wood tones and stuff. And the problem is it's just too big, so if I would need like a bigger living room space to do it, and most of my builds are pretty small. So I've been doing some bigger builds though, because I did the colonial one with my sister, which was a bigger house, and then I did this one. So I'm kind of trying to do some different builds for you guys so you can have different amounts of Sims and stuff. So yeah, I was just trying to figure out something to go there, and I found that little hutch thing, and then you can see I'll put it over a different one over by the bar, which ends up being this one right here, because it has like wine glasses and stuff in it, or wine bottles, and so it just goes well with the bar area. And then I'm putting in all these hanging lights, but you'll see later I take them out because I open it up to the second floor. So obviously hanging lights can't hang on anything if they don't have a ceiling, so I change it up. And then this is just kind of like a little display case. Obviously, the point of Jungle Adventure is to collect all of the artifacts and kind of figure out the mystery of the island or of the jungle itself, and like all the ruins, and it's almost like the Aztecs kind of too. So there's a lot of different displayed things that you can find. So I ended up putting fossils on the fireplace, and then those two golden plates and the frog on the display case. And the goal was just kind of like, you found those things and you wanted to display them in your house for guests when they came, so they could learn more about the jungle island thing. So that's pretty cool. And each room does have a bedroom or a bed and a little dresser thing, and I think it actually ends up being the same dresser, which is fine. No, actually, I think it changes up a little bit upstairs, but for the most part, it's the same one, which is the one that comes with Jungle Adventure. But I just really liked it. I think it goes cool. And I never used a clock before, and so that was a great place to just kind of put in a random clock, but it just kind of turned out really cool. So I was really excited that I found that. And then I'm just putting in another chair. Like I said, for the most part, they do have like a bookcase and stuff that they can use, but this one I think just has the chair area, which is fine. They can grab a book from the living room and then just sit down in their room or whatever, but it's pretty cool. And I love that that kind of blueprinty picture too. It just fits in really well with this kind of build too. So this is the toddler room. There's some stuff for the toddler. It's obviously not as in depth as what a normal toddler room that I do would be, because this is kind of more of a vacation home. But they do have a bookcase. They have a little table area, and I was actually looking for the notebook that comes with Parenthood, and I forgot that it came with Parenthood, so I'm like searching forever for that thing, but it's okay. And then I put in the little teddy bear, and then there's like a doll or something that comes with the Jungle Adventure Pack 2 that I end up putting in, and I think that was pretty cool. It's a neat touch. And I don't know if they can use those books as a bookcase like they can the other ones that just sit on tables, but if they can, that's perfect. If not, it's cool because they have one, but just kind of like a random tidbit, I guess. So yeah, after I finish this bedroom, I will start working on the little bathroom area too in a little bit. So, and again, using that painting, it just fits in everywhere basically, so that's pretty nice. And then adding in that rug. I never used the rug that you see here, but it's a really cool way to use a lot of the stuff that I don't normally use. And I really enjoyed that about this build, because it allows me to do something different that, like I said, I don't normally do. So that was cool. And so now just making it into a toddler-friendly bathtub and bathroom, yeah. And then adding in the toddler toilet there. So that is the downstairs bathroom. It is very thin, but it is long enough, and it has all of the things that you need. So there you go. And then in that little space, I will put in my grand piano, and I'm so excited because I just really love the look of a grand piano in a place. It just makes it so magical. So moving up to the top, in this little area, you will have the parents' room, or what I would think would be a parent's room. It is again private from the rest of the house, and they have a nice tub and jacuzzi area, and then a shower and stuff that you would see in a normal bathroom. But then it's a double bed up top there too, with their little bedroom. So that was pretty cool. And obviously double vanity, because if you're gonna have a master bath, might as well have two sinks, you know. And everything has been play tested, so everything is good to go. You can have everything that you want, and you don't have to move anything around, so that's pretty cool. And I was trying to figure out what lighting I wanted, and that was just not working, because I ended up using that chandelier basically in every room. And while it's nice, I would have liked a little bit more, I guess, options for hanging lights, and that didn't really happen, but that was okay. So I was just trying to figure out some lighting ideas that I could do. And then, so here's the double bed and that little rug. And again, the patterns don't match, but they go together just perfectly. It's really strange. So it works out. And I wanted to put in a little ottoman in front of the window, but none of them really went with the vibe I was going for, nor did they look right. So that's why I didn't end up doing that. And of course, it'll change around a little bit with the layout of everything, and you'll see in just a second that I move everything around. I really like that mirror. It's just so big that it's almost too modern for the pack, you know, because the rest of the stuff is very, you know, jungly, kind of wood tones, all that. And then you have this like leather studded mirror, and it goes okay with it. You know, I use it in the one below it, but the bedroom below it, but it wasn't what I was looking for. And so I ended up using that older mirror, which I think looks a lot better. And then just adding in that plant. And now we're moving on to the downstairs, changing the railing because it was clipping through the wall really strangely, and it just didn't look right. But now I'm making the bottom, as you can see, like an overhang, which I think turned out really cool as well. And it actually expands in a little bit, but right now I didn't really have a plan for what the top was, and so I ended up making it into 2 more bedrooms. And originally I was gonna have like a really, really big bathroom that they would just share, kind of like I think it's like a Jack and Jill almost, except that they're not on the each ends. But then it was just so massive for one bathroom. It was like a whole nother bedroom basically. So I ended up splitting it down the middle and making 2 smaller bathrooms, which I think looks a lot better than just having this huge bathroom. And also for, like teens or something, it didn't really make sense for them to have the tub either, because it wasn't like it wasn't like the master suite or like a private suite or anything. It was just another bathroom. So that's why I end up cutting it in half from it right there. So the bathrooms are similar, but they're not the same. As my dad would say, they're the same, only different, or similar, But so that's why they look a little bit alike, but again, just not the same. They have the different sinks. So that was that sink I was talking about, where the sink part is just like out in the open, which I think is just a cool design just in real life, and then it was really neat to have in this build as well. So they do have the same shower and same bathtub, but they have different sinks, and everything else I think is the same, but different sinks, different rugs, it's whatever. And so yeah, I guess there's 3 teen bedrooms in this build, or like, I guess adults could use them too if they're like young adults or single adults or whatever. But I think kids can also use those beds, even if they're not like kids beds. So you can actually have kids in this build too, which works out really well for whatever kind of family. And you can have up to 8 Sims, like I said. I haven't mentioned this yet, but it is available on the gallery if you want to download it, as always. And all you need is the Jungle Adventure Pack, which is pretty cool. And I've actually really enjoyed this kind of building with just like the one pack, because it makes it so special for the people who just have that pack, and it's really nice, I think, for them to be able to download it without having to worry about items being replaced and them not getting the whole experience of the build, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to continue until I finish all of the packs. The only pack I don't have is the cats and dogs stuff pack, because honestly I can't be bothered to buy that, because it's just bad. I think as a community we can just all agree that is the worst pack in The Sims 4, and it's just horrible. So I am not going to spend money on it unless it like goes down to like $2. I think maybe I would spend it if it's $2, but honestly, you get everything that comes in it, in the cats and dogs, except for the hamsters, and even then it's just kind of like a recolor of everything that you get, so it's just not worth the hamsters, I guess. So anyways, so there's a trio, which I really love the plants for, but I just wanted it in different places, and then I change up a little bit of the cracks in the wall, and then just adding lights into the pool, and then in front of the ruins, which looks really, really cool at night, which you'll see in a little bit. And then I end up taking the kind of floor trim that I was doing before, and then just kind of moving it around the entire build. So now I'm just adding in some terrain paint and making it look like people have walked that path for a while, because it was just kind of too perfect with all the grass and stuff. And then just adding in a little bit more landscaping, because I felt like it needed some more plants in the jungle, just like 1 or 2. And then so yeah, here's where the little floor trim kind of thing goes around the whole build, which I think looks a lot better than it just randomly stopping halfway through the rest of the build. So it makes it look more complete, I think. So yeah, jumping into the screenshots, here's at night, which I think is my favorite photo of it, and then here it is in the daylight. We've got the different parts of the front porch, so that's just over by the private bedroom, the front part of it with the ruins, there's the front door, and then over to the side of the other side with the fountain, which turned out really cool. Here's the pool looking at the view, which is a gorgeous view. If you were ever in that, that'd be really nice. So this is the master bedroom down in the, that's separate from the rest of the house, so the private one. Just looking at that, and there's the bathroom that's attached to it too, with that orange color, which is cool. Here's the office with the chess table and the archaeology table and the bookcase. There's the kitchen with the yellow appliances, which turned out pretty cool. And then as you can see, I changed out the lights and stuff, so those aren't there anymore. Here's the entryway with the grand piano, and then going into the living room with the fireplace and the fossils, and just another angle kind of looking in the other opposite direction, here's the bathroom downstairs, again with that painting, which looks really cool, and that accent wall as well, which matches the shower, by the way. Here's the toddler bedroom, and then just like some more angles of that. Again, it does have a bookcase in there, so that's all good to go. And then here's that, I guess, teen bedroom that's downstairs as well with the clock, which I think is really neat. And then here is that like balcony landing area, and then the look of the house from the top of the stairs, which it's just a cool view. I think it turned out really nice. So here's the upstairs bedroom. That's just another teen bedroom or young adult bedroom or whatever, with their bathroom and their shower and tub as well. And then into the other one, which they, like I said, they do look similar, but they're different in their own way, so that's pretty cool. And then of course the bathtub and stuff are the same too. So, but yeah, that's the bathroom. And then here's the parents' bedroom. That's the other master bedroom. That's also separate from the house, which is really cool. I love the blue. And then they have the jacuzzi tub and stuff. And so yeah, that was pretty cool. And there is the rest of the house. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up below. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday, so hit that notification bell and you won't miss any. Until then, go out there, be the fantastic humans that you are, be kind to each other, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!